Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Draft League World Series, and I uploaded my draft recap for Season 1 not long ago, and now here we are with our pool play. So, basically what had happened was all the all the people that are a part of the Draft League World Series, all the regions and stuff, they all have 5 players who, I went over it in the draft recap. So anyways, we're facing off against Asia and Michigan. So 2 different regions, um, and we're going to be facing 2 players from each region. So with the first region here, we're facing off against the Michigan region, and we're facing off against TPB to start off here. And he's got a pretty scary squad, as you can see on screen. He's got the Zygarde, Alolan Muck, Slowbro, the Mega Mawile, Keldeo, and the Savali. We have Charizard, Clefable, Zapdos, Greninja, Decidueye, and the Donphan. So, pretty powerful squad that we have here. Donphan is to, keep rocks off of our side of the field. Zapdos is really powerful in this matchup. Greninja as well. Decidueye is there basically only because of the Keldeo. Outside of Keldeo, it doesn't serve any real merit in this match. Charizard is very, very powerful. I knew he would be bringing Slowbro because of how powerful Charizard is and how good it would be versus his squad. So it was imperative that he bring Slowbro to try to check my Charizard the best he possibly can. That being said, I do expect him to have something like Thunder Wave on Slowbro to catch my apparent switch in, being Decidueye or Clefable. I do expect my opponent to be prepared for that, and he won't just allow that to happen. So, that being said, our Charizard is a Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw, Flare Blitz, Roost variant. With the right conditions met, this thing can sweep. We are afforded an adamant nature this week because of his speed tiers. There's nothing specific that we need to outpace outside of maybe Zygarde, but I don't see us being, matched up against the Zygarde or in a position to where Zygarde needs to be running enough speed to even be close to my Charizard or my Zapdos speed tier. So yeah, like I mentioned, facing off against the region, or the Michigan region here, and he's also got a Crobat, which he did not bring. He left it on the bench, and it was one of his Z-move users. And he does bring the Zygarde, which is his other potential Z-move user. So it would be between those 2 Pokemon on which one's actually going to be, his Z-move user in this matchup. Anyways, that being said, I guess we can go ahead and hop into the replay here. My opponent has 1 potential Stealth Rocker in his Mega Mawile, so I didn't feel like, he would be leading off with Mega Mawile to get rocks up, and even if he did, my Donphan is a pretty solid counter lead. So I'm going to lead off with my Donphan here, and this allows me to get rocks up, as my opponent throws off a Toxic and misses, and he misses his second Toxic as well, as we're able to Toxic him. So we should be 2 rounds of Toxic, down. I don't think it necessarily makes a difference in the differential or the outcome of the battle. Here I've got to go for the poison again, predicting my opponent to hard switch into Keldeo or Slowbro, but he does not, and now he takes the opportunity to parting shot out into Keldeo as I get my rocks up. Fortunately for me, I have one of the best answers in Decidueye to a Keldeo that you can possibly have. So I go out into my Keldeo, or my Decidueye, and Keldeo's Scald there bounces off. I'm able to go for the U-turn. U-turn in conjunction with Toxic will leave Savali, at 0 health, and my Donphan's able to come in, and it looks like my Donphan got a kill. Well, technically it did, a passive, poison kill. Anyways, he goes back out into Keldeo, and I go hard into my Decidueye. Gonna be pretty standard here. I don't want to over predict or anything like that, and Keldeo is a huge threat. So going into my Decidueye every time is the play. It's the guaranteed play every time. So he brings in his Muck on my Thunderbolt there, and did quite a bit of damage. Reveals that he's more than likely not Assault Vest, and I go out into my Donphan here as he knocks off my item. It's a little bit unfortunate for me, I am going to go for the Earthquake though, and it does quite a bit to Keldeo, and now I can switch into my Decidueye once again. Icy Wind into Icy Wind, plus the burn damage will not be able to knock us out. So we'll be okay here, and we can just roost up as my opponent takes the opportunity to go ahead and hard switch into his Zygarde. And my opponent's going to go for the sub, I believe, here. And I actually can't break his sub, especially with a burn. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn out, get a little bit of chip damage on the sub. And now, I know I'm going to break the sub here with my Clefable. And I do just that as he reveals Glare and poisons me. Paralyzes me. And like I mentioned, I expected Thunder Wave on Slowbro, but he has got the Glare on Zygarde as well, and he is a sub variant. So he's banking on the Glares, banking on the Paras, which is a fine strategy, I suppose. But I do have Heal Bell on this bad boy, and I believe I am unaware as well. So I will be able to 1v1 this Zygarde, bar, extreme Paras and whatnot, and I do get paralyzed there as he goes into his Muck. I'm going to go hard into my Donphan as he goes for the Poison Jab. Unfortunately, I'm no longer poisoned, and he hard switches into his Keldeo once again as I'm able to go for the Earthquake there and eliminate Keldeo as a threat. He brings in his Zygarde. Thankfully, though, my Decidueye is no longer poisoned either, so I could maybe do some work, keep that thing around. He does switch out into the Alola Muck once again as I throw off a Wish here, and I'm going to try to get my Donphan in. Unfortunately, my opponent, he's not going to allow my Donphan to just freely come in, and he's going to get the knockoff there and knock me out. Unfortunate for me. And now bring in my Zard, and I go for Dragon Claw to see what kind of damage it does to the Slowbro. How many boosts do I need to be an effective breaker? Basically was my thought process. So he hard switches out into Zygarde as I brought in my Zapdos. He doesn't want to take a Thunderbolt, rightfully so. And I go for the Hidden Power as he subs up once again, and it does way too much damage to leave him in range to where he can't sub, and I'm able to 2-hit KO him. And now he brings back in the Alola Muck, and his Figgy Berry pops, so he's out of range of Thunderbolt, unfortunately, and he's going to start cursing up. So that's going to be tough here. What I'm going to try to do is get him in range, or get him low, but not in range of his berry, so that my Greninja can revenge kill him eventually. So that's going to be the thought process here, is I'm going to have to play a lot of mind games, a lot of 50-50s. I do get a Para. Fortunately for my opponent, though, it doesn't come into play. And I get all these low rolls. I'm not able to 2-hit KO the Alola Muck ever. I mean, I could with the right rolls, but I'm not getting those rolls. Had I got a 25% roll there, I would have been able to do it there. If I could get 27% rolls back to back, I would be able to knock him out as well. But for some reason, I just could not get those rolls back to back. And the game is random generated numbers. So yeah, wasn't able to get a full Para or anything like that. And eventually, I'm going to start going for the Hidden Power Ice here. I didn't want to run out of Thunderbolts, and I also wanted to do the least amount of damage as possible. Now, if I could get the 26% roll there, I would be in fantastic position. But I get 24 again, and he's able to survive. And I'm going to try to chip him down once again with Hidden Power. And fortunately for this turn, he gets paired. And I tried to switch out into my Greninja here so that he could, either click Knock or Poison Jab, and it bring me down to my Sash and put me in Torrent range. Unfortunately, he gets fully paralyzed, so I'm going to hard switch out to my Clefable, back into my Greninja, and he just keeps getting fully paralyzed. So I start going for the extra sensory here, and finally, my opponent's going to break through, and he's going to get the Poison Jab. So finally, he puts me in Torrent range, and I'm going to be able to knock this thing out on the following turn with Hydro Pump. And that's going to force in the Mawile to knock me out, because Slowbro doesn't want to take a Dark Pulse. And I guess it could take a Dark Pulse, but then it gives Zapdos a free Thunderbolt, whereas bringing Mawile in forces me to go into Charizard, which allows him to get his Slowbro in for free, and then I would have to scout and see what kind of moveset it has. So basically, I did what I needed to do I've got Muck weakened. I've got it in range to where it doesn't get its berry back, and it's in range of Torrent Boosted Hydro Pump from my Greninja now. But this Poison Jab not only brings me down to my sash, but it poisons me, and I'm going to die to the poison there. And now this is pretty much good game. I try to go for the U-turn here, hoping that I could get him at 26%, 27%, but it puts him just in range of his berries. So all of these rolls, just really unfortunate for me, and now Muck is going to be able to steamroll my team. I do try to come back here, but it's just inevitable, honestly. And I guess had I got an extra pair there or something, Zapdos could have came through with it. But that's going to be game, and my opponent's going to win 3-0. But that's not going to be it. We'll be right back with game 2, which was actually versus Michigan as well. So let's go ahead and hop into that. Alright, so here we are with game 2, and my second opponent is the Iron Chief, or XRXEXMXYX. A mouthful there. Anyways, as you can see on screen, he's got the Kyurem Black, Mega Scizor, Tapu Fini, Licky Licky, Kling Klang, and the Tentacruel. So this team was actually, the Iron Chief ended up dropping from the Draft League World Series, and quite a lot of other people did too. The reason being I'm pointing this out is because the squad on the dock has been changed. That's because a new coach came in, replaced him, made a few changes to the squad. So I'm not going to go over the last couple Pokemon. I don't remember them either. Perhaps while I'm talking about my prep, I will remember, but at this point I do not. So that being said, we've got Charizard, Clefable, Zapdos, Bronzong, Decidueye, and Oricorio, and we left on our bench Donphan for this matchup. Donphan and our Greninja are on the bench for this matchup, and our opponent has brought the Kyurem Black, Mega Scizor, Tapu Fini, Licky Licky, Kling Klang, and the Tentacruel. So our squad is a Swords Dancing Roost Charizard X with Flare Blitz and Thunder Punch. I felt like after Stealth Rocks, a +2 Flare Blitz is going to drop a Kyurem Black anyway, so I didn't really need Dragon coverage. And the plan was to always be at +2 before I start attacking with my Zard, unless I'm just in a position to where I don't have to. If everything's weakened enough to where I don't have to set up, that's the idea. I didn't need Dragon Dance. My opponent has nothing faster than me on his squad outside of Tentacruel, so I felt like Dragon Dance would have been a waste, and Swords Dance puts me at way higher amounts of health to where I can OHKO things like Tapu Fini and Licky Licky depending on their set. Obviously, if they're fully physically defensive, it'll end up being a 2-hit KO. I don't think Licky Licky can survive a +2 Flare Blitz, but we'll see. Depends on their set, like I mentioned. And I've got just a little bit of bulk investment on Charizard. Allows me to avoid 2-hit KOs from things like +2 Bullet Punch from a Mega Scizor after Stealth Rocks. So that's really nice. Same thing for Zapdos. It can comfortably live, Scizor's attacks all day. It's really solid. As you can see, I've got Oricorio, Pom-Pom. Well, we'll talk about them in order. I don't want to get too carried away. So next up, we've got Clefable, which is going to be a Leftovers variant with the Magic Guard ability, with Wish, Protect, Moonblast, and Thunderbolt. Basically, his 2 resistances to Moonblast are Tentacruel and Mega Scizor, and I guess the Kling Klang. And they take super effective damage. All of them except Kling Klang take super effective damage from Thunderbolt. And then Wish Protect for longevity, can pass wishes off into Charizard, Zapdos, so on and so forth. Bronzong, Decidueye, Oricorio, all appreciate a Wish being passed. Next up, we got a max HP defensive Zapdos with enough speed to outpace, I think, like no speed invested Tapu Fini, and max speed Scizor, which is really nice for us. Throwing off powerful Thunderbolts, Heat Waves, and then we've got Roost and Defog as our last 2 moves. Next up, we've got a Weakness Policy Bronzong with Trick Room, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, and Hidden Power Fire with Trick Room, and we've got a Brave Nature. This thing puts out the damage, especially in this matchup. If I can meet, some certain criteria, then Bronzong can win in the late game as well, which is really, really cool to see. Next up, we have Decidueye, which is our boy Apollo here, rocking the Leftovers this match. With U-Turn, Leaf Blade, Spirit Shackle, I need all 3 of those moves, plus Roost. And we're going like, this is kind of like a Tapu Fini check answer, kind of. Like if he doesn't have any speed investment, we'll outpace him and knock him out. Well, not maybe not knock him out, but 2-hit, 3-hit KO him with Leaf Blade, depending on his set. And U-turn always gets us momentum. His, switch ins would be things like Kieran Black, Mega Scizor, and Licky Licky, all of which we can take advantage of upon the switch and get initiative and things like that. So last but not least, we have a defensive max HP Oricorio Pom Pom, which is the same typing and nearly the same stats as Zapdos. Not quite the same, but it's up there. It's like a cheap Zapdos here, Oricorio Pom Pom. But this thing is the god. So we got Sub, Calm Mind, Revelation Dance, and Roost. So if we can break the Kyurem down, Oricorio can sweep, which is awesome to think about. So yeah, all that being said, he brings no potential Stealth Rockers to this match. He does have potential Toxic Spikes and Tentacruel. All that being said, I'm going to lead off with my Charizard as my opponent leads off with the Kling Klang. So immediately I'm just going to Swords Dance up. I don't think my opponent has anything that he could knock me out with there. And I can get the Swords Dance, and now I can go for the +2 Thunder Punch, and I'm able to knock out the Tapu Fini. Unfortunately, I got a crit, which ensured the OHKO. Depending on his set, I would have been able to OHKO anyway. However, if he was max HP, max defense, he could have potentially lived and got a little bit of chip damage off. However, he goes into Scizor, which is not the play, and I'm able to get the Flare Blitz knockout there. That crit did not matter, and I'm able to go ahead and knock that bad boy out. And my opponent brings in the Licky Licky, goes for the Toxic, and the Misty Terrain pops off there, and I go for another Swords Dance as my opponent clicks Wish. And now I'm going to be able to go for a Flare Blitz here. Knocks out the Tentacruel at +4. My opponent brings in the Kling Klang. I'm just going to click Thunder Punch here. I don't want to take any extra recoil. And now my opponent goes into the Licky Licky and just forfeits. So Charizard there picking up 6 knockouts, able to knock out the Kieran Black and the Licky Licky here, had my opponent not forfeited. And we're able to pick up a nice 6-0 victory. Coming off of a 3-0 loss. Getting a big 6-0 victory to get back into the groove of things is really, really nice. So yeah, it's going to be that. We're going to, so like, I've got 2 different recordings here. I've got me recording, my games 1 and 2 simultaneously, not simultaneously, but back to back. I've already recorded my game 3 match, and I was able to catch it live. So there's going to be a shift in music, shift in, what would seem like my personality. There's going to be a shift basically, and we're going to go ahead and hop into game 3 and let you guys check that out, and that's going to be live. And then after that, we'll hop into game 4 and see what happens there. But anyways, here comes game 3. Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Draft League World Series, and we've got our match against Jetman 99 OBK. As you can see on screen, he's got a very powerful squad that he's brought. I'm not going to go over a matchup because I'm doing this live comm, and I want to go ahead and get this match started before I waste any more of his time. With that being said, he brings a pretty scary squad, but we've got a pretty fun squad too. I'll go over my team briefly. I got a Dragon Dance Zard that's more defensive. I've got a Life Orb, Magic Guard, Clefable, Modest, Max Special, or Quiet Natured, Modest, or Max Special Attack, excuse me, Max HP. I got a Discharge, Heat Wave, Roost, Toxic, Zapdos with the Charty Berry to kind of take on his, I think he had a Hawlucha, potentially Mega Pinsir. I'm not real sure what it was. And I got a Greninja here. This is a Spadef Greninja to take on Gengar. I do speed creep it though, so if it's max speed, it won't be able to, catch me off guard with the Focus Blast or a Dazzling Gleam or anything like that. We've got a Weakness Policy, Trick Room, Bronzong, and then we got a Soft Sand, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Donphan. We'll go ahead and hop into it though. Wasted a little bit of his time already. And let's go ahead and hop into this battle like I mentioned. So we're going to lead off with Greninja. That way we can taunt anything he wants to lead with. If he leads with his Cryogonal, we can switch into our Bronzong accordingly. So let's go ahead and lead off here. We're going to lead off with a Greninja like I mentioned. He leads off with the Toxapex. So what I can do here is I can just taunt this bad boy and see what he wants to do. He may go ahead and Scald me, but I am a Leftovers variant, so I don't mind as much. And I'm very, very Spadef and max HP. So he uploads actually, so we'll be checking out his channel, probably subscribe to him. He said he was going to check out our channel too, so that's pretty cool. He does go for a toxic spike here, and we're able to taunt him. So now we can go for our own spike and see what he wants to go for here. He may go into his Togekiss as a defogger, or he may have Cryogonal as a spinner. We're going to be able to get our spike up here though, which is really nice for us. He does go for the Sludge Wave, and that does a fucking chunk. It does 44%. And us being Spidef, that's freaking insane, honestly. I don't necessarily know what I want to do here. I'm thinking about going out into Donphan hard and clicking Earthquake immediately. I think that's what I'm going to do here on a potential Sludge Wave here. As he does go for the next Sludge Wave as well. And now we can go for this Soft Sand Boosted Earthquake and see what he wants to go for. He may go for Toxic Spike now, but that's going to be okay. We do get a huge chunk of damage off here as he goes for the Scald. Not quite able to knock us out here, but it's going to be interesting what he goes for here. I'm going to set up Stealth Rocks, because if he goes for Toxic Spike, I can just Rapid Spin those away the following turn. And he does go out into Togekiss, so that's fine by me. I do get my rocks up here, and I'm fine with that. I'm going to hard switch out into my Zapdos here. I don't want him to get any kind of momentum here. And I do have my rocks and spike up now, so that's good for me. He does quite a bit of damage here though. What we're gonna do is we're gonna roost up on the first turn and see what he wants to do as he goes out into his Cryogonal. So that's a fine play by him. I don't know if we necessarily want to stay in here, but do we have another play? We could go hard out into our Charizard, and I think that's what we're gonna do, and go for a Dragon Dance. We're going to go immediately for a Dragon Dance because we've weakened the Toxapex very, very significantly. And he goes hard out into his Togekiss. Let's just check our speed EVs here. Oh, we're guaranteed to outpace this thing. And he shows leftovers. Okay, so that's really good too. Do we want to take a Thunder Wave if he has it? Because Charizard really can rip through his squad. I don't know if we necessarily want to take a Thunder Wave here. We could go back out into Zapdos. I think that's going to be the play. We don't want any kind of shenanigans to happen yet. He may be Thunder Wave. And he is. Okay, so that's good for us. Now we can throw off a Discharge here. Thinking about throwing off a Toxic, but I think Discharge is the best play. He has no immunities in this matchup. He may have had an immunity on the bench, but I guess he just didn't bring it. And we can go for a powerful Discharge here and see what we can do. I really want to throw off a Toxic. I really want to throw off a Toxic. My opponent inherited this team, by the way. Yeah, I want to throw off a Toxic, but it's just too risky at this point. What I can do is just throw off a Discharge. Just chatting with him in the chat there. He said I have his team countered, and he said he hates his team, and I can understand why. He did inherit his team, like I mentioned. So that Discharge did 48%, so I'm going to Discharge again as my opponent goes for the Sucker Punch. That's fine by me. I'm able to get rid of Bisharp, which was a huge threat to Clefable. So that's really nice for me. I'm thinking about going hard into my Bronzong here. I think I'm just going to sack off Donphan though. I'm going to sack off my Donphan because what I can do is bring in my Bronzong for free, and if he is hot darn, if he goes for Psychic or Shadow Ball that are predicting my Bronzong, then I'll be in an okay position. I just don't want to come in on a Shadow Ball and not be able to, handle it appropriately. So now what I can do is go into my Bronzong here and set up a Trick Room. As he goes for the Shadow Ball, this is going to pop my Weakness Policy. That's really nice there. And now what I can do is throw off a Gyro Ball here. Knocks out the Mega Alakazam. That's really nice for us. Hey, he should bring in the Toxapex. No, he brings in the Cryogonal. Does this thing live a Gyro Ball? Yeah, that thing didn't live a Gyro Ball. Now he brings in his Pex here. We can click Zen Headbutt. Hopefully we land this. Hopefully we can land the Zen Headbutt. We do land the Zen Headbutt, able to take that bad boy out as well. Next up is the Gengar. Oh, we're in a pretty solid position at this point. If he brings in his Togekiss and we're able to weaken that, okay, he goes into his Gengar, which is probably his best play. But this puts our Zapdos in a solid position. We're able to knock out the Gengar here as well. and that was really nice. So now he brings in the Togekiss, and we can just go for the Gyro Ball here. He shouldn't be able to knock us out with any one hit. Oh, he goes for the Fire Blast. Oh, that's unfortunate. That would have probably knocked us out. That would have probably knocked us out, but we had Zapdos in the back. We had Charizard as well. Yeah, that was a really quick pace game. So not too much to say there. Bronzong worked out perfectly. We were able to get up our Spike. Our Greninja was able to taunt the Toxapex. That was really nice. That was a pretty quick pace match. 19 turns there. Not too much to say about it, honestly. I feel like the prep was there. We had a really good matchup in this one, in my opinion. And it did end up being the Mega Alakazam, so it was definitely Hawlucha that he had in the back that I had the Charty Berry on my Zapdos for. It had to have been. Nothing else makes sense. But yeah, that's going to be it. So good game to Jetman, and let me know what you guys thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. And yeah, that's going to be it. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the live comm for Game 3, and here we are back with Game 4, and we've got some post-comm again. Unable to catch some of these games live, but I will be able to catch some of them live, which is really, really cool, and always fun. Anyways, so my opponent now is Brooks, aka Miniman, in the Draft League World Series server. As you can see, he's got Landorus, Therian, the Linoon, Gyarados, Vivillon, Xurkitree, and the Klefki, deciding not to bring the, oh, that's Mega Gyarados, by the way, deciding not to bring the Tornadus Incarnate or the Azumarill. So that's really nice. He does have two potential Z-move users in this matchup alone, Landorus Therian and the Xurkitree. However, Landorus Therian versus a Charizard team is kind of not necessarily, doesn't necessarily have to, but it, you know, the team would benefit a lot from it if this Landorus was defensive. So I'm thinking right off the bat that, you know, Landorus, and it's his only potential Stealth Rocker, that Landorus is more than likely going to be defensive and Stealth Rocks, and Xurkitree is going to be the Z-move user. So yeah, that being said, we could, well, first we'll go over the team a little bit. So we've decided to leave Bronzong in the back and leave Decidueye in the back, and we've decided to bring a Dragon Dance and Charizard with Flare Blitz, Thunder Punch, and Roost. Enough speed to outpace Landorus Therian, potential Choice Scarf Landorus Therian after Dragon Dance as well, which is really nice for us. And this thing blows back things like Gyarados with Thunder Punch, especially if it, you know, decides to hard switch in, thinking it would, you know, be nice to get that Intimidate off. Next up, we've got Unaware Clefable, which is really nice versus Xurkitree, Vivillon, Linoon, and the Landorus Therian. We've got Moonblast and Flamethrower. Obviously, Dragon Dance Gyarados, Mega Gyarados bypasses our Unaware ability with its Mold Breaker ability, so that's not too big of a, you know, something that's going to catch me off guard or anything like that. We've got Moonblast, Flamethrower, Wish, and Protect. Flamethrower hits Klefki. Basically, the only reason we brought it, chipping that thing down, is detrimental for our Greninja. Anyways, next up we've got Zapdos, which is a Discharge, Heat Wave, Hidden Power Ice variant with just Roost, so max HP, a little bit of speed investment so that we can outpace Landorus and catch it off guard with a fast, speedy Hidden Power Ice. So next up we've got Greninja, which is our Choice Scarf variant. It's kind of our late game cleaner or revenge killer to things like Landorus and Gyarados if they were to try to get out of hand. It also outpaces a potential Xurkitree after a Z Hypnosis after it gets its speed boost, so that's really nice to always have that. We have U-Turn, just for a little chip on everything basically. Hydro Pump and Surf. I thought about running Ice Beam to always knock out Landorus, but I felt like Surf and Hydro Pump would, you know, I didn't want to run just Hydro Pump because I didn't want to rely on it in the late game if it come down to it. So I've brought Surf and Hydro Pump. So Hydro Pump's there to break, Surf's there to clean up in the late game. And then I've got Low Kick. Low Kick's my last move because after Gyarados Mega Evolves, and if it gets a Dragon Dance up, then Low Kick will be able to 2-hit KO it, as well as being able to pick it off if it's around, you know, 40 or so percent. So that's really nice for me. Next up, we've got Donphan, and Donphan's actually pretty cool. We got a max HP, max Spadef, careful natured Donphan with Sleep Talk, not Rest Talk, just Sleep Talk, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, and Stealth Rock. So the idea is that If he goes for Z Hypnosis, as I can switch into my Dawn Fan and he puts me to sleep, I can click Sleep Talk and potentially get an Earthquake roll and be able to knock out the Xurkitree, and that would be really, really cool. However, if I get Stealth Rocks or Rapid Spin or something like that and he's able to blow me back or something, that's going to be okay too, because I do have Greninja to revenge kill that. You know, I can use U-Turn to chip it down into Surf range or Hydro Pump range and then go from there. So last but not least, like I mentioned, he does have the Vivillon. And we've got our Oricorio Pom Pom here. If he tries to Quiver Dance, our ability Dancer will come into play. We have Revelation Dance, Hidden Power Ice for the Landorus, Revelation Dance for everything else, and then Roost and Defog. Instead of putting Defog on Zapdos, I decided to bring it on Oricorio. And then we've got Roost for longevity. So Zapdos and Oricorio pretty much do the same thing here, and that's going to be okay. So we're going to lead off here with our Charizard, expecting his Klefki lead. If he was to lead off with his Landorus, we could just hard switch from there. But he does lead off with his Klefki, and we're going to click the Flare Blitz here and knock this bad boy out, despite his Thunder Wave. Unfortunately, we get fully paralyzed, and my opponent decides to go hard into Gyarados as we go for the Flare Blitz again. And this turn, my opponent decides to Dragon Dance up, which is fine. My team is designed to not let this thing just set up for free. So I'm just going to continuously click Thunder Punch here, and I put him in range of Greninja's Low Kick. And I lose my Charizard, which is a little bit unfortunate. There's a really nice breaker in this match, but sometimes you just got to lose them on. Here I go for the Low Kick. I'm able to knock out the Gyarados as my opponent brings in the Vivillon. It gets a crit with the Bug Buzz. I am able to get my Rocks up though, as he won't be able to knock me out with anyone move from that range. And he decides to go for Hurricane there. Now I'm going to switch back out into my Oricorio, as he's revealed Bug Buzz and Hurricane, so I don't expect him to have Quiver Dance. And I go for the Revelation Dance here, as my opponent does Quiver Dance up, reveals the Wakan Berry, and goes for the Quiver Dance, which gives me the boost too. So go ahead and Quiver Dance up, brother. I will take that all day, and I'm going to be able to knock him out here with the follow-up Revelation Dance. So that's really good for me. And my opponent is kind of at a loss for words here. So he goes into Klefki, sets up his screen. He's going to take, negligible damage here, but he's going to continuously click Dazzling Gleam here, and he's eventually going to set up a screen again. So I'm not sure what the reason being is. He just wanted to set up a Reflect, and it knows that he's going to survive one more and that his light screen will run out, and he can reset the light screen up. But what I'm going to do is Roost up, and now my opponent's going to hard switch into Landorus, thinking he's got all these screens. But I'm going to reveal Defog and get rid of the rocks, get rid of the screens as well. And now +1 Hidden Power Ice will guarantee 2-hit KO a Landorus. If he was no HP investment, that would have knocked out from full. And he goes for the Stone Edge there, but Oricorio eats like a boss and able to 2-hit KO the Landorus. Now my opponent's forced into his Xurkitree, where he's going to go for the Z Hypnosis actually, but he's going to miss. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him, but at this point all I had to do was, sack a few Mons, so it's not too big of an issue. I go out into my Donphan here, as he actually Tail Glows up. Kind of scary, to be honest. I wish I had went into my Greninja there, and then I would have had Donphan to sack here. But what I'm going to do is just U-turn out, sack my Zapdos off, as Zapdos was the least one I needed, the mon I needed least. And I can go back into my Greninja. This thing's in Surf range, so I can just click Surf here. Now he brings in his Klefki. I am immune to Prankster Thunder Wave, so I can just click Surf here as well. And now he brings in his Lanoon. And I'm going to avoid a 2-hit KO from Extreme Speed, thanks to my HP investment. And I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO this. First of all, Surf the first turn did a whole lot less than it did the second turn, because the second turn he had put me in Torrent range, so I was guaranteed to knock him out on the following turn. Had he belly drummed up, so had I went for Surf and he his berry popped and he belly drummed up and he was put really low now, and he started going for Extreme Speed, he knocked out my Greninja, I would have just went into my Clefable, and he would have been at a range to where Clefable could knock him out whilst avoiding the 2-hit KO, because Clefable was an unaware variant and was not would have ignored the belly drum attack boost. Anyways, that's going to be our 4 games. We finished 3-1. We have a 3-0, a 6-0 win, a 3-0 win, and I believe a 5-0 win. So that's not bad at all. But it's +14, and -3. So plus 11. 3-1 plus 11. Not too bad for a pool play. And it came down to whether or not, once all the games got inputted and the Draft League World Series Season 1 finished, it's pool play. We took about a month for pool play. There was over 300 games played or something like that. Once it was all said and done, the Central Eastern, I believe that's what we are. Let me just double check on that real quick. I believe we are the Central Eastern United States. Me and my teammates. So yeah, we are Central Eastern United States. That's me, Tone, the Central Gatsby, Krabby Apples, and Blindman. We're the team. We're the 5 players that make up the Central Eastern United States, or we're the representatives anyway. And I'm the team captain. And we did make the bracket play. We made it to the playoffs. It was tight, but we ended up grabbing the 15th or 16th spot out of 16, and we're able to get in now. But I do believe in my team. I believe in myself. I believe in our squads that we can get it done in the bracket play and come out on top when it's all said and done. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's talk about all these battles, all 4 of them, in the comment section. Let's talk about my live comm on game 3. You guys like live comm? You guys like post comm? What do you like better? But yeah, leave all that down in the comment section. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.